Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with an everyday makeup routine video. I feel like people don't really make these anymore, but I'm super excited to show you guys what I've been doing lately. So if you guys want to see that, then stick around and let's get on with the video. Alright, so I have all my makeup pulled out over here. I have my Polar Pop. So this is going to be a super chill video. I'm going to start off with some moisturizer. So this is like the Cetaphil knockoff, I guess, by Target. So it's the Up and Up brand, and I really like it. Maybe I need something a bit thicker because I have a bit drier skin. My skin's a bit on the drier side, I guess. I might need something a little bit thicker, but it definitely does the job and does do a pretty decent job at hydrating and everything. So now that I have all of that rubbed in, I'm going to be using my Out of the Warm palette as a mirror. So if I accidentally hold it up in front of my face too much, I apologize. Hopefully you guys can get the gist of what I'm doing. But for my base, I wear foundation periodically, but I've been doing it a lot more recently, just for fun. So I'm using this Revolution foundation stick in F4, and I'm also using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation in Porcelain. I usually mix these two because sometimes this is too dark and sometimes this is too light. So I will just be swiping these mainly on the bottom half of my face. I don't really put a whole lot on my forehead because I have a lot of texture right here, in between my eyebrows and a little bit above, and it clings to it and gets cakey looking and it just doesn't look that great. So I don't tend to put a lot on over there, but I'm just going to be swiping a little bit on side and blending it out with a sponge. So I'm going to be using this really dirty Morphe sponge to blend all this out. Next, I'm going to be using a ColourPop concealer in the shade Fair 06. It is a little bit light for me, so I try to be careful with it, and it can be a little bit drying, so I try to blend it out quick, and then once I'm done, I'm going to be setting my face with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. Sometimes this can give a little bit of flashback, even though it's advertised to not do. Sometimes, for me, I find that it does, so I try not to wear it out at night if I'm going to be taking photos and such. But yes, I do really enjoy the powder. I feel like everything is set in properly, so yes. I will be just swiping a little bit underneath my eye, mainly right here where I'm really dark, just to have the least amount of product underneath my eyes because it is pretty drying, so the least amount of product on my eyes, the better. And I'm also going to be blending it out with the really dirty Morphe sponge. Sometimes I like to tap it out with my finger just to keep it from drying out as much because this Morphe sponge definitely soaks up any sort of, oiliness or hydration that it gives off, so it can make it even more dry. And it also just ensures that all of your product is melted in properly. So I'm going to be using a really dirty Eco Tools sponge to set everything in place, and then I'll show you guys a different brush that I'll be using to powder my entire face. So I like to set around my nose and on my chin, and as you just saw with my forehead, with the sponge, because I feel like that's where my product breaks apart the most. Maybe it's because I'm putting too much powder on it, and then it just gets overly dry and breaks apart. But next I'm going to be using, let's see, this is an e.l.f. highlighting brush, but it's kind of pretty big and fluffy. I like to have a little bit more precision with my highlights, so I like to use this to just kind of go all over my face because it's super fluffy, and it's also not a huge powder brush, so your product doesn't fly everywhere, even though it just did a little bit there. But yeah, so I just set mainly my cheeks and underneath my neck where I blended the foundation a bit, and then a little bit on my forehead, just everywhere else that feels a little bit sticky, I guess, from the foundation, or a little bit wet that needs to be set down with some powder. Next, I'm taking this e.l.f. contour palette and this Wet n Wild contour brush, angled brush, and I'm loving these right now. I just got them recently. I'm in love with this brush. I found it at Dollar Tree, and then I'm in love with this contour palette as well. So I usually just mix these bottom two shades right here and contour my face, and sometimes I use the contour for other steps, which I will be showing you guys in a little bit, but I just do a basic contour with these two bottom shades right here. My next step is also coming from the e.l.f. palette. I've been super into very light highlights, so I use this top shade right here and lightly dust that on my cheekbones. I've been skipping blush lately, but I also love a good blush moment as well. But I haven't been doing that as much lately, I'll be honest. So that is that. I will also take a smaller brush. This is just an e.l.f. one that I use sometimes, and I put it on my nose and bring it up, doing this on a mirror, and on my Cupid's bow. Cupid's bow is very important. So that is the highlight. Next, I'm going in with brows. I'm just going to be using this eyebrow pencil, also from Wet n Wild. I feel like Wet n Wild should be sponsoring me at this point, in the shade Brunettes Do It Better. So it's 623A. I've been enjoying it. It's just a basic pencil that I literally, have to sharpen every now and then. And I just lightly, fill in the bottom like this. And make sure I get my arch, because my arch is pretty bare for some reason. And then I do a little bit underneath over here, and then just spoolie it all out. That is all for the brows. It's pretty basic. Sometimes I will set it with a brow gel. This is really old and gross. I also love the Essence Make Me Brow gel, which is amazing as well. But if I'm, not going to be wearing makeup for, multiple hours, I usually don't set them, or if I don't think they need it, I won't set them. It just depends on the day, really. Next is eyes, which is my favorite part, and that's what's probably evolved the most. So I bought this product the other day at Dollar Tree. Of course, it's by Wet n Wild. It is called the Keep Going Waterproof and Sweatproof Eyeshadow. It's in the shade Protein Shake, so it's this really pretty goldy brown color. So sometimes I'll swipe a little bit on the corners of my eyes and then use this e.l.f. smudge brush to kind of make a wing with it. Or what I've been doing a lot lately is just using either this really dark shade in my contour palette or any darker shade out of any of my eyeshadows and just creating an eyeshadow wing. I also have been using eyeliner a lot more lately, so it just depends on the mood I'm in. So I think I'm going to be using a shade out of this. I'll be using the shade Beep Bop out of the Adeline Warren palette. I might go in with some of that contour shade. So it just changes periodically, but I love to do meet a wing. So the brush is just very skinny and precise. So it's mainly just a flat edge, really thin smudge brush. You can find these anywhere. I've had it for ages and I love it. So what I do is I just kind of flick it upwards like that and then bring it back in and blend it downwards towards my eyelid. And then if it needs a little bit more adjusting, I'll go back out to make it a bit more precise. So usually I have to fix it with my fingers and just kind of wipe underneath it to make it have a bit more of a point. But yes, that is basically what I do. I just keep blending it, adding it, taking away powder, That's the really great thing about using eyeshadow, is that it's really easy to play with. So it's super easy to do if you wanted to spice up your eye look before school. It's very easy to do before Zoom, you know what I'm saying? So once I'm done with the liner, I know this one looks a little bit darker than this one. I will take a shade similar to this contour one, really just any neutral-ish shade. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'll blend it into my crease and a little bit with the liner, just to kind of, you know, spice things up a little bit, make it all blend out and look super clean. So this is an e.l.f. blending eye brush. I have so many blending brushes, any will do. This one I feel like packs on a little bit more product than my others, so it's a bit less fluffy, but it still does the job and blends out pretty nicely. So any neutral shade. This one's a bit warmer than I usually go for, especially compared to this really dark liner I've got going on here. Sometimes I take this little brush and I'll add in whatever color I used for the liner, and I'll put it on my inner corner. Sorry, dogs are barking. Just to kind of make my eye look a bit bigger and more elongated. So sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day, but I also enjoy doing that as well. So we are almost wrapping it up here. Here I have an eyelash curler that is actually from Dollar Tree. Laura recommended it, so I'm really enjoying it, and I'm also using this Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I think it's just, you know, the black one. I enjoy it a lot. I just put a coat or two on my top lashes and then a light coat on my bottom, and that's about it for the eyes. So my last step is some lip liner and this lipstick. So this is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Beauty to Buy. You guys have seen me use this a million times. Yes, it is still the same one. Kind of gross, but I love this thing. I worship it. And then this is the Estee Lauder Lip Defining Pencil in the shade Spice. This is really old and I probably shouldn't be using it, but I love it. And these two go great together, so I just line my lips. I overline the top just a teeny bit, but that is the last step. So I just finished my lips. I put on some eyebrow gel because my eyebrows honestly were looking a little crusty and they needed a little bit of help, and I also put on another quick coat of mascara. And yeah, that is it for the makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Sydney Bullen, and my vlogging channel, Sydney's Vlogs, and my makeup channel, Makeup by Sydney, which I need to get back on posting. I've been doing Vlogmas this year, so be sure to go check it out on Sydney's Vlogs. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!